All right, guys, welcome back with myself and Eileen. We are just here today, this morning, to kind of recap on our series. I think we're on our fourth video, something like that. We've been rolling along. Both of us have been growing and learning from a production aspect, visual aspect, and as we put the series together, as we're expressing the things that we're going through, our growth process, just know, guys, we're growing too. This has helped me to grow not only as a person, but as an artist and as a producer of videos. I know it's helped Eileen grow immensely in her program and how to promote herself through social media and getting the program out there. So we just kind of want to recap a little bit about our experiences in the last few weeks. If you guys watched the last video, we were talking about the power of the pause and my experience of what I've been going through. And what I wanted to do is I took it into the studio with my students on Monday and kind of the results of that. So I want to share a little bit of that, but also, I think Eileen has some really cool experiences that she has had in the last week too as well. She wants to share. So Eileen, how are you? How are things?
I'm great. Thank you, Troy. I think what I'm learning about this program and the powerful effect that it's having on not just you, but also myself. And we talked about the ripple effect a lot. And I'm seeing the concreteness of that interconnectedness of everything. So I had an experience this morning where I was on my porch meditating, and this feather floats down right in front of me. And I always take that as a sign. And to me, it's a sign that everything's okay and that everything is just as it's meant to be, and that the flow is there and the connectedness is there. And I believe that what you and I are doing and the success that you're having through the program is part of that interconnectedness. And so I want to hear what happened on Monday with the students as a result of what we talked about in the last video with the power of the pause, being in that silence, how powerful that silence is. And it kind of connects to what I experienced this morning with the feather floating, because I was in quiet, kind of in contemplation mode. And I believe, when we're in that silence, we actually hear, see, and feel much more than when we're in the middle of chaos.
Yeah, no, most definitely. It was really cool because Monday, most of the time when I start my class, I start very energetic with the kids. Well, one thing I do is I sat down and we kind of get an energy check with each other, and I asked them on a scale of 1 to 5, give me a number, energy being 1 the lowest, 5 the highest, where they're at, until they'll hold up their finger, and I'll take the average of all the kids, and then I'll give them my energy check between 1 to 5. So we kind of see where we're at. So we were about a 3 that day on Monday. And I wasn't really super physical in like an energetic physical manner either with the kids. So I thought this was a perfect time to do this. So I told the kids, I was like, all right, we're going to do something new today. Instead of, going really hard and working really fast, we're going to slow things down and work on some stillness. So instead of, doing our exercise and stuff, I made the kids, we sat down, I turned off all the lights in the studio and had the kids just meditate for 3 minutes quietly. I said, don't think, just turn your brains off. So they turned their brains off. And then after that, we did some just slow movements to get us going, just to get into our bodies. After I did this exercise where I broke the kids down into 3 groups, right? Just picked random numbers, brought them up, and I gave them a word, okay? I gave them a word, and I said, I want you to create a picture without talking with your group. Create a picture with this word, a visual picture, okay? So the kids would come up, and they create a visual picture. And then I'd have the rest of the kids explain to them what they saw. Okay. So we went through the groups. Well, I pulled a word out of a hat. Now understand, I'm working with kids from 12 to 18. Okay. So the last group, I threw a little twist at them. I threw something that was kind of relevant to today. And I said the word oppression. I said, I want you to paint a picture of oppression. And one of the girls turned to me and she said, what is that? And I was like, wow, okay, this is a very interesting teaching moment. And so I had to come up with something that'll help them to understand, because, life-wise, they probably haven't experienced what oppression is. So I told them, think of something of someone who said that you couldn't do or be, and paint that picture. Well, something really cool happened. One of the girls were standing and she looked like she was trying to take off running. Another girl grabbed her and another girl was pushing on her. So there was this push-pull effect. And so I asked the kids, what do you see? And one girl was like, "This looks like one girl doesn't want to do something. Another girl's trying to hold her back, and looks like one's trying to push her away." And I said, the power of a picture is a very important thing, isn't it? And they're like, yeah, and it's all in perception, what you see. So if we get to a place of being confident and, paint a picture, it's amazing what you get to see out of it. So I thought it was really cool where, a kid did not understand this word. And it's a very powerful word, especially what's going on in today's society. But they were able to interpret enough through their experiences and what they've experienced to paint a picture that helped the other kids to understand what was going on. So the power of the pods was amazing, just to see that through kids that are used to moving all the time, to get them just to paint one picture and what they come out of it through one word. So I was really excited how the kids interpret that. And I'm going to continue using that work a little bit more as we go on through class.
Awesome. And did you do a recap on 1 to 5 and how they felt at the end of the class?
By the end, we kind of slowly started working the movement. We didn't do an energy recap, but what I felt from the kids was their mind frame was in a different space, because we're used to really starting off very energetic and high. But because we went through more stillness and slow movement and built up, they seemed a little bit more grounded. That's what I noticed from a teacher. They seem more grounded in themselves instead of bouncing off the walls, which is great because you want kids to have been energetic and everything. But I feel like they felt like their feet were on the ground a lot more, just because we went into it slowly. So it's not always about, having a lot, moving a lot to accomplish a goal. Sometimes slow and steady will get you to where you need to be as well.
And what comes to mind to me is, I use this analogy a lot, the Dancing with the Stars show. If you really pay attention from the beginning to the end, when they first start out, they're a little clumsy and they're not quite so grounded, and they're not as focused. They're not as in flow with the dance and the instructor. So what I see happening with your kids through the work that you and I are doing with the program that you're now transferring to your teaching with the kids is you're using the dance of dance and movement and silence, so that through the process, like in Dancing with the Stars, as they perfect those skills, it's not just physical, but it's also a mental component. So now you're adding that element of the mental connection to the physical connection that's interconnected with movement and dance, and even the confidence. So keep an eye on the confidence as you bring this element into their dance, and how they will start to excel and improve in their dancing, probably a lot faster than this component. So I think that's awesome. Because at the end of Dancing with the Stars, the final 5, 4, 5, there, if you look at what they did at the beginning versus how they are at the end, that middle was all about kind of what you're doing with your kids is teaching. They've learned how to dance with that flow and that movement, and you can feel it. You can see it in them when they get to that final stage and you look at the finalists. So I can see you doing that for your kids. It's going to carry with them for the rest of their life, because you're building, again, like the program, you're building a foundation for them. And it's not just the dance, but you're teaching them life skills. You're teaching them things that they can use outside of dance. And I think that's awesome. So I want to continue to hear the progress you have with the students, especially when they talk about things that happen outside of the dance, because again, that's part of that ripple effect.
Yeah, and I think I shared that with you. I've already had one student that approached me. I think this was like 2 weeks ago, and she had mentioned that the process that we do in our class has helped her focus on her other classes to work harder. And she thought in her mind that she was working hard, but she realized that she can work harder in her other classes. And to me, that sounds 10 times more appealing than, hey, I taught this girl how to do this one move. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool, but the fact that she's taking the process that she's learning in this class and applying it to somewhere else, that's that longevity that we're talking about. One of the philosophies that I've come up over the years of teaching, especially preparing for shows and stuff, I always say it takes 3 months to create 3 minutes. And the first time I told me, a good friend of mine who started teaching that, he goes, what do you mean? I said, think about it, dude. We're in the studio trying to create this picture that's going to last that long on stage. It's going to last a second, but it's going to take us almost 3 months to create 3 minutes. Enjoy the 3 months, because that's where all the memories are going to happen. People don't realize, once you get, it's like a movie. Once you get on stage, in an hour, it's over. But it takes 2 to 3 years to make that movie. But you're looking for that hour and a half of pleasure from the reaction that are people getting from watching it. So enjoy I guess the point is, enjoy the process, because that's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember the celebration, because the celebrations are going to go by so fast. So enjoy the process.
Exactly, and that's interesting that my program is 3 months long.
3 months, create 3 minutes.
Right. Well, and I think if you think about movies, we talk about movies or performances long after we see it, because it has an impact on us. So the same thing with what you're going through, your processes through the program is being transferred to your students, which is being transferred into other parts of their lives. And it's something that will be a positive and permanent impact. And it's really rewiring their brains is what's happening. And it's helping their thinking processes, and the processes in bringing those thoughts in and bringing them out here is shifting, and it goes back to perception. So it changes their perception of themselves and their relation to the outer world. So it's such a powerful, how do I put it? It's just so powerful. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
I think I agree, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it has so many facets to it that you want more. You know, I'm assuming the kids want more. You want more. I certainly want more, because I'm excited to see the not only your transformation, but how it's transferring to your students and your transformations, because these kids are our future.
Yeah, and I tell them, okay, sorry.
Oh,
I tell the kids, you know, within the hip hop culture itself, I think I mentioned this before in one of our videos, but it's right on point of what we're talking about. It's each one teach one. You know, it's the power of keeping the culture alive. The only way my particular culture, the hip hop culture, stays alive is we pass it down. You know, it's just like any other, you know, culture. You pass it down from generation to generation to keep it going. Hip hop culture itself was not born into a dance studio or any kind of music studio. You know, it was born out of street culture and interaction of community. So to keep that going, I tell my student, what you learn in this class, it's your responsibility to pass it down to at least one person. I don't care if it's your cousin, your friend, your mom, your dad. Take a piece of something that you learned and teach them. This is the only way this culture stays alive. You're not going to find it in a book, even though it's starting to be documented in books and testimonies of people's events that's happened through the hip hop culture. But it's because the culture itself is barely over 40 years old. So it's an infant compared to other cultures. But the only way it's going to stay alive is these kids have to pass it on. So I tell them, you know, before this year is over, pass on one bit of knowledge. By you doing that, you keep the culture alive, and it puts it in their hands and their responsibility. And I think once you put it in their hands and their responsibility, they have a greater care for it and understanding of why they're doing what they're doing.
Awesome. So I think for today, we'll close out on what are some takeaways that you've had from the last video that we did, and your teaching the kids on Monday, and what we talked about today?
Still not positive frame of stillness, you know, letting things come in, you know, don't try to force everything. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier before we went on air, that I think sometimes society says by a certain stage of life, we're supposed to have certain things and do certain things. What I learned through the power of stillness is allowing things to come through you. You know, when something is time to show you, it'll show. But we have to have the patience to do it and be in the moment to do that. Converting that to what I taught with my kids this weekend, on Monday too as well, is if I was not in that place of receiving that information, how do I expect my kids to receive it too? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be open, and hopefully me being open will allow them to be open. And I want to continue that ripple effect like we were talking about. So hopefully if it opens them up, they'll go open somebody else up. What would be beautiful for me is to hear them not only open up a kid their age, but maybe an adult, you know, a parent or a grandparent, so that they're seeing things completely different. So it's not only they can relate here, but relating here on a different level, so they can either come here or this person come here, so they can find a common ground.
Absolutely. And we talked about that before we did before, how that's happening with us.
Yeah.
We are now elevating and rising and working through the process, the continued process, at a much more equal level, and it's compounding and expanding and transforming all at the same time. So I just want to leave with the note that pay attention to the signs and the symbols, because they are informative in helping you to see where you are in life, and that's a combination of how things are progressing. Thank you for tuning in again, and we will see you next time.
Yes, thanks guys, and we'll see you soon. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.